The nursery and all of the trees cross over the dark, and some old parking lots hold my whimpering thoughts, and I'm on the next train. You and me, can't you see what this means? In the light of a torch, realize nothing is forced. Nothing is forced. The nursery and all of the trees cross over the dark, and some old parking lots hold my whimpering thoughts, and I'm on the next train. You and me, can't you see what this means? In the light of a torch, realize nothing is forced, nothing is forced, nothing is forced, nothing is forced.
Welcome to Nursery, a podcast from Ohio's creative voice. My name's Lee Boyle.
I'm Jaye Mills.
I'm Mike Klenich.
And
I'm Terri Maxgiving.
She's in the background sometimes on their podcast, which is kind of why we're here today. They do a podcast called Almost Facts, and I wanted to talk to them a little bit about that as we open up. They're Ohioans like I am, and a lot of our guests are. So we'll start with you, Michael. What's Almost Facts, and why should people listen?
Well, it kind of started out, I was on a podcast called Facts. Mm-hmm. It was my friend Eric Krebley and I, and all we talk about is facts. And we'd pick a topic every week, and we'd do it in a couple different, facts, like on the Egypt or on how glass or just anything. Then our show turned into Facts and Friends. Mm-hmm. Where it was Eric and I, and we'd have a guest on, and we do the same thing. Eric retired from podcasting, and I always wanted to do something different, and so did Jaye. We've always been talking. Let's do something totally different. Mm-hmm. That's like I think we both have an interest of like the paranormal and weird stuff, and conspiracies and things that are taboo. And we said, let's do a show, and we're calling it Almost Facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I listened to a couple episodes of Facts and Friends, and you always seemed like you were the half of the duo that wanted to explore what was intriguing in between the lines of those facts. So it makes sense that you pursue this.
And honestly, I mean, it was a character I was doing in Facts and Friends. But the truth is, I really do have a passion for this other stuff. And now I'm doing a podcast where I'm not doing a character. I'm really myself with my friend, and we're talking about things we really want to talk about. The way, just having fun. It's not necessarily a comedy podcast at all. If things happen to be funny, that's just because of the content, and that's what happened naturally.
And you guys have a background in comedy, so it kind of will rear its head once in a while in a good way, right? Yeah. Well, and Jaye, so you're the side of this podcast, of your podcast, Almost Facts, where you guys you're kind of the more scientifically minded, right?
Yeah, I think that's somewhat true. Mike is, but Mike's given to a little bit more fancy than I am. Mm-hmm. I'm very. I have to prove it to myself before I can believe it. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that I don't have interests and questions and, like Mike was saying, the paranormal, the unexplained, the weird, the taboo, the things that people are afraid to talk about. I enjoy this podcast because normally when you're in a social situation, you can't just sit down with a group of people and be like, hey guys, let's talk about aliens for an hour.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's talk about a collective consciousness for an hour, or like we just talked about the placebo effect. Mm-hmm. That doesn't go over well in general conversation. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find people who will admit to being into that stuff. But I'll bet if you go look at their YouTube history, it's full of strange and bizarre, UFO sightings or Bigfoot sightings or things like that. I think everyone is kind of interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But they might be afraid to admit it because it's a little weird. They don't want to seem weird, and we like weird.
And you have a pretense to be weird with
Oh
that
yeah.
show. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Well, where can, just so we don't like blow past it, where can people go to listen to Almost Facts?
You can find us on iTunes. You can subscribe. In fact, we'd encourage subscribers. That's the best way to get our name out there. If you can't get on iTunes, you can listen to all of the previous episodes on almostfacts.com, and we're also on facebook.com/almostfacts.
That's cool. And then you guys are Ohioans, so let me ask you first, Mike. Did you grow up in Ohio your whole life?
I did.
Okay. What did you think about it, like, as far as when you were a kid in Ohio? Did you like being here, or were you one of those people that were like, it's boring here, man, I gotta get out of this?
I did.
Yeah.
Because my mom came to this country when she was 12 from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I got a lot of, like, old school, I guess you could say, in me. You know what I mean? Like the way she was raised and the way. And I didn't know anything more than just Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
My parents really didn't travel and stuff like that. They worked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always loved it. I love the seasons. And I went to a smaller school growing up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was always fun being a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
And when I moved on to high school, it was kind of the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to a Catholic school all the way to 8th grade, same one.
Mm-hmm.
And they, every class would have about 15 to 20 kids in it. Then I go to Howland, which has like, I don't know, a couple hundred. And it was kind of a shock.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up having a blast, and I went to YSU.
That's cool.
And I honestly loved all my schools.
No, that's good to hear. I mean, sometimes people can be a little bit more disillusioned with Ohio. Was that the case for you, Jay, or no?
What, being disillusioned with Ohio?
Did you hate it when you were younger?
I don't like people that always bash Youngstown all the time.
Oh,
I
sure,
love
yeah.
my school, man. I went there. I had a great time. And I commuted.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
Well, that's cool.
This is dangerous water.
It's okay.
I don't want to offend
Why so
Ohioans.
sour?
My biggest issue is, like, I've in the last maybe 5 or 6 years of my life, I really tell people that I was born about 6 years ago, because that's when I started getting out and actually learning about my own city. Mm-hmm. I had traveled more outside of the area before then. Mm-hmm. And so, I have a newfound appreciation for how many genuinely creative people we have, and how many honest and good-hearted people we have, and there's some great little gems in our area. But my problem is people who don't ever want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because there's a whole world out there, and if you don't get outside of this environment, I've seen people become very jaded, become very closed-minded and small-minded because they don't see what else is out there. Mm-hmm. And even traveling to Pittsburgh or Cleveland or Columbus, that are within 2-3 hours drive, you can expand your mind and horizons. And even going beyond that, like, we live 3.5 hours from a natural wonder of the world, Niagara Falls. How many people have never been there? Mm-hmm. It's right there. You can do it in a day if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But people are just, no, I'm here, I'm staying. Why would I ever want to do that?
There's
I live in Canfield. I'm staying in Canfield forever.
Mm-hmm.
No, get out and see the people. It blows my mind to go to Pittsburgh, especially. I spend a lot of time there, and just seeing how you go into the grocery store and there's people of all ethnic backgrounds speaking all different languages, and then I come home and they're like, get out of here if you don't speak our language. You want to come to our country, learn our language. Get out of that closed, small town mindedness.
Yeah.
It's okay to love your town, but don't be small town minded.
Yeah.
Have a bigger, broader picture of the world, and still appreciate where you're from.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that, I mean, and I do know, I have run into a few people, coworkers at other jobs and stuff, that haven't been to, like, say Pittsburgh, or they're scared to go. Say they live in Columbiana, Ohio, in the Northeast area, and they shy away from Boardman or Youngstown. They're like, oh, I don't ever go there.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's funny, and it's like, I'm just like, oh, you should, like, even if you're only leaving home to miss it, just go do it. Like,
Exactly. That's a
fine.
great point.
Yeah, you hear about a new restaurant or something. And, you know, we're Trumbull County over here. I am. And then I'll hear about one over in Boardman or Cantfield. It's like, I gotta go. That's not far from me. And
That's cool.
man, I'd work with people that are like, I ain't going way out there. Like, dude, what at most 35-minute drive.
I know somebody in Struthers who won't like go to Boardman. You know, it's weird.
They'll say like, I'm not going way out there.
I don't understand that.
Way out there. I go all the time. Terri and I go to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, just check new stuff out all the time. You know, it's fun taking
That's
a
good.
trip.
Terri, can I ask you just for a little blip? And were you raised in Ohio?
Yeah, I was. I was born in Youngstown. I've always lived in Austintown my whole life. I was never one of those people that like couldn't wait to get out or anything. I like living here. I like this area in general.
You're an adventurous person, though, right? You do travel otherwise, though.
I like traveling. Well, I used to like traveling. I will say it like that. I used to really want to travel a lot, and now I travel for work, and it kind of puts a new spin on things. Yeah. Where traveling for work is a lot. It's definitely different than traveling recreationally. I would still like to travel recreationally. I love a good road trip, but traveling for work definitely makes me not want to visit certain areas ever.
Yeah. But you're going
as
to like
a recreational type thing.
She's going like California, New York. You know?
So the idea of going to California or New York for vacation is kind of off the list for me.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird how that stuff works.
Yeah, like, oh, let's go to San Diego. It's beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful. But when I go there, I feel like I have to work. So, I don't know.
No, that makes
Palm
sense.
Springs, woohoo! Yeah. But you know what? There are like a lot of nursing homes in Palm Springs, and I feel like I have to go there. So
you're gonna go to Iowa for vacation or something.
Pretty much, yeah. Like I'll see you guys in Nebraska.
Right.
Branson.
So, yeah, for real. There you go. We'll be in Branson partying it up.
That's
How was your trip?
My trip?
Yeah.
Like I said, when I travel, I had to travel for work. I don't do it that often, and I was in the South. I was in Birmingham, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia. And every time I travel, I like to try to find something that's unique about that place and enjoy it. I know I was in a class, I was in training, and some of the other folks, I'm asking them, oh, where'd you eat last night? We just went to the Olive Garden. You're going to chain restaurants? You're in the South where you can only get deep-fried okra that's going to taste like it's supposed to when you're down there, and you're going to go to a chain.
You
so
take advantage.
At least if I'm there for work, and that's why primarily I'm there, but I try to and I had some good food, some good times. It's beautiful. I have a newfound appreciation for parts of the South.
I went on a small tour under the name of the Third Class, our band, just solo versions of those songs, and I went west and I hit Kansas, Nebraska, couple other places, and I thought I was going to go there and find these little pockets of people that, I don't know, trendy, creative, whatever. And I did find them here and there, but I noticed that the people that I found were from Portland, Oregon, or from New York, and they were going to college in Kansas. And it made me kind of like Ohio, because there are people here like you guys who have been there their whole lives who actually have some insight into things, and that's no knock against local Wichita. There's some really creative people in Wichita, Kansas. There's a stand-up comedian who I met who's great, and she's really funny, but it was fewer and farther between even than Ohio to find those people. It was surprising.
That's shocking.
Than Youngstown.
That's shocking.
And again, that's not a knock against those cities. I was just like, oh, maybe it has to do with our proximity to New York or something, but people in Ohio tend to be like, oh, there's a record store not that far away. I'm gonna go see what new music is there. Or they say, oh, they're doing an open mic with some stand up. I might go to. It's few, but the people care. Like here and there. Like, then you have backgrounds in stand up. What's it feel like to like be in Youngstown and do that? Like, obviously, the first mention is venue, but
no. Here's my perspective. Is that I've done it, I'm by no means a professional and by any stretch of the imagination, but every time I travel, for whatever reason, I try to find an open mic to hit up. And I've done it in several cities now, in the East Coast or down south. And Youngstown...
Like, really tired. If you're doing that plus work in those other cities,
no,
that's
man,
amazing.
no, you just gotta... I gotta do it because I only have one shot at this life.
That's the right
So
attitude.
I'm not going to blow an opportunity. But I'm going to say right now that the people that I know in the Youngstown area and surrounding close proximity who are in stand-up are some of the most genuine and awesome people that I've met. And I feel like some of them are more family than my real family. And I've gone to other cities, and I'll tell you, and this is definitely totally a knock against the city of Orlando, Florida. Is this a family-friendly podcast, or can we...
Oh, you can do whatever.
Fuck that place.
Okay. I hear a lot of
Those
people say that.
were so rude, and I couldn't get over the fact that they were so closed off from some outsider coming in that you were supposed to have 5 minutes. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I was getting some laughs, and they cut me at 2 minutes. They just cut the mic in the middle of a joke.
You were supposed to have 5?
I was supposed to have 5. They cut it at 2 minutes. I was in the middle of a joke, and they just turned my mic off. And at the end of the show, I was trying to talk to them, and they just weren't having even conversation.
Oh, wow.
But our scene, you know, when you come to some of the shows we go to, like Sills with Shane Herman running Sills, or when we used to run Milo's, when a new person would come in, it would be like, oh my God, a new person.
Yeah.
Bring them over here.
That's how everybody
buy them
is.
drinks.
Yeah.
Talk to them. Make them feel comfortable at your show.
Yeah.
To give them, you know, the right attitude to go on stage.
That's the truth.
And I've never seen that in any other city. And I've done it. I did it in Atlanta, in Birmingham, in Orlando. I've done it in New York, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Akron, Georgia, other parts of Georgia, like near Savannah, the Carolinas. And nowhere have I received a welcome than I did. In fact, it's the welcome that Shane Herman gave me the first night I did it 4 years ago that made me keep doing it.
Yeah, in 2008 or 2007, 2008, first time I did it was at the Funny Farm. Shane was there, came up to me, goes, "You were great, man." Shook my hand.
Same thing with
That's
me.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, people, when we bring touring acts through, usually treat them well. I don't know if you can vouch for that, Terry, but like you being like
Absolutely.
somebody who's at Cedars or what have you.
Yeah, and I've helped,
you kind of
like-
get excited if someone's like, we're touring from Missouri or New York or something, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and with confidence, I've helped book bands from out of town at different venues, and with the confidence of knowing that those bands will be well received, not only by the venue and the establishment, but by the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a given in
it
this
is.
area.
When the Lemon Grove was doing lots of live shows,
Yeah.
I was living up in Austintown. I had a big house. It was just me. And some of those bands would be touring, and they needed a place to stay, and I'd always let them crash. And it was never a bad experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And now
yeah.
I've got connections like all over the East Coast from these people who just crashed on my couch.
So many people move out of Ohio too. I found that those connections happen too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
If I go on tour, like we played a show in New York and it felt like we were at Cedars because
Wow.
that
Really?
many people from
Wow.
Youngstown were there.
I can't tell you how many people I meet
Yeah.
in New York and Los Angeles and Sacramento, Northern California, Southern California, people who tell me they're from Ohio.
Oh,
For
yeah.
some reason, everyone from Akron, Ohio has moved to Southern California.
Ohio is so
Akron,
much
Ohio in
more
particular.
important, I think. The rest of the United States understands how important Ohio is.
It seems like it. They
But
seem to regard it in some
Look
way.
at, even in the presidential primary election,
It's like a
and in the-
winner-take-all
and in the
thing.
general election, how important we are. Yet the people in Ohio, a lot of them just dog the shit out of it.
Yeah.
It's because they don't take the time to actually understand the history of where we're... How many astronauts do we have from
yeah,
Ohio?
man. See, you know stuff.
Like
that.
all of them?
We got
Like
a
18.
president.
Yeah.
We have what,
18.
4 or 5, we got about 5 presidents.
We have, I think, 5 presidents.
It's like 1/10
Only
of the
I think
presidents.
2 presidents have actually won the presidency without Ohio. It's 1 or 2.
That's crazy.
It's nominal. It's like, little tiny
amazing.
number. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, and I mean, I know that it sounds like we're like, it's cool. Don't say Ohio's stupid. It's great, but like
we love Ohio.
But like, I mean, it is. If nothing else, if you want to be like a little bit more like humble about it, it is at least a connecting state for people. It's at least like
It is.
music-wise, the bands they're probably going towards LA or they're going towards
Yes.
Madison, Wisconsin, or someplace that's got a little bit bigger. But they're definitely going to connect in Akron or Youngstown or Cleveland on their way. They're not going to like shy away, or they're going to New York the opposite direction. They usually stop there as opposed to, Indiana or
right.
that kind
And
of stuff.
that shocked me. Like when I was in Birmingham, it's a bigger city than Youngstown, but I was just doing a search of what concerts were in town. And it was like nothing.
Really?
Nothing. But where we are, we get major touring acts who come through here. Cleveland, Cincinnati, always. Mm-hmm. From stadium shows to they're going to come to Ohio. Yeah. They may not go to Birmingham, Alabama, but they're going to come within a 2-hour drive of where we are right now.
Yeah, man.
And we're lucky.
And what we're trying to say is people in Indiana and Alabama are just a bunch of hicks, and we're very classy people.
No, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
it sucks here.
They're very uncultured human beings.
I think it sucks here, but you make it what you make it.
No, you're right.
It's cold. Kidding. It rains all the time. It's cloudy all the time. Mm-hmm. It's economically depressed, but we're having a good time.
Yeah, and it toughens you in a certain sense. I went to Seattle for just a little bit, and they were like, "Look out, man! It rains here," and it doesn't actually rain there like it rains in Ohio at all.
It's just that mist. It's that weird mist that just like Silent Hill.
Mist. Yeah, never.
It's nothing compared to this area.
Nothing.
We're second place. Ravenna's second place in the nation.
Is it?
It's
that's why they had the
cloud cover.
Rain and cloud cover.
Ravenna.
They got aliens.
They already had the air base there.
There's aliens over there, man.
Mm-hmm. They built the air base,
Well, the Cuban Missile Crisis, one of those 3 Cuban missiles that were, identified in the Cuban Missile Crisis was pointed at the Vienna air base, was pointed at us.
Wow.
Essentially, because of the Ravenna Air Base.
Wow.
Ravenna Air Base. Okay.
Yeah, it was pointed here. Wow. I thought it was the Vienna Air Base, but anyway, it was pointed here because of that air base, because it's a really crucial air base because of the cloud cover.
Yeah, I mean, and like again, I guess that's not a point of pride, but when I was in Seattle,
we got clouds, man.
Like somebody.
You might have culture, but we got clouds.
Right, and somebody like stopped me in the woods, like did that weird little. You guys ever see Seinfeld where I stopped short? You know what I'm talking about? He did that to me when we heard this thunder in the woods. He was like, "Did you hear that?" And I was like, "No, I didn't, because I'm from Ohio, and you're a wuss. You're a pussy." Like so. At least there's the toughened up side.
Oh my God, you guys should see what happens in Southern California when it rains. It's insane.
Yeah.
They get a drizzle and they're driving 25 miles an hour in a 65 zone. Like, we get to a nursing home and we're like an hour
roads
late.
Get slippery though because it's so
No,
warm?
I mean roads are roads. What's crazy is like they don't think they can drive. They don't realize they can drive in the rain. Like their tires are the same as ours. It's just a matter of like confidence and knowing that they can do it. So we get to this nursing home an hour late and we explain to them that it's because of the weather, because my area manager in that particular area is driving us. We're so late because she has to drive like 25 miles an hour on the freeway because of the rain, and they all understood. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're late because of the weather." They all got it. They're like, "Oh yeah, we were all late today too."
Well, that's funny.
It's raining.
But like you said, it toughens us up, because can you name one single weather phenomena that we don't experience here?
Yeah, right.
We got them all. Even hurricanes have made it up here.
That brings up
earthquakes, everything.
A point though, like she was late, or whatever, an hour getting to her destination. Now, me delivering the mail, no matter how heavy it is, I have to have it done the same time every day.
Really? I didn't know that about
our supervisors. They keep it in denial. Even though they know you're probably going to be a little late that day, they're going to question you in the middle of the polar vortex when I trained. Remember that?
Yeah.
2014, the winter, how cold it was.
Oh.
And even last year was brutal with the
last year
20-degree winds.
Yeah.
So I'd be running late, and everybody came in late a half hour. We were getting in trouble almost every day.
That sounds right.
Everything's full of ice.
Yeah.
And they expect you, though.
Because we're used to it.
Yeah, they say that doesn't matter. You have the proper gear. You have cleats to wear. It's like, really?
Right.
It's weird. That's weird. I drive for a couple little, just on the side, for a couple of professional driving taxi type things, and you always get these texts and stuff, and they're like, "Tonight's going to be a big night, double the charge, you're going to make big money." It's always like during like a blizzard or something, and it's like, "Go drive, get out on the road and drive right now." And it's like, man, this is Ohio. I can't believe it.
They stopped the mail during those polar vortex days. Like the mail got stopped for like all that snow and the polar vortex, like for freezing temperatures.
Not for us.
No, not in Ohio. Here's what I'm
here.
saying. And like I think it was stopped in Virginia and in North Carolina, because I mean it was really far-reaching to the south, farther than it normally is. In Ohio, we never stopped the mail once, not one day.
Is that because we like can't afford not to, or something? Because we're
I think it's because we're used to it. Our skin is, we've been frostbitten. We're good.
That was a bad winter, man. I remember pipes freezing and things like that. And it was just, oh my gosh.
We had like 3 of those in a row. 3 of those polar vortex bullshit winters in a row.
Another thing I noticed, I brought this up on other episodes of Nursery, is that nobody's really passive here. Everybody's pretty like straight up. There's so many like people that are really dumb and like ignorant, but they wear it on their sleeve in Ohio, and so you can correct the problem quicker. Whereas in Seattle, I saw a lot of. I didn't see anything that offended me necessarily because I wasn't there long enough. But I saw a lot of people just avoiding things, and like they wouldn't, like, as an example, if I was to run into you, Jay, I'd be like, oh sorry, or you'd be like, excuse me, get out of my way. Here in Ohio, there they would just stop and just look at you and look, or maybe not make eye contact till you moved. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, creepy.
So it was like, if you take that and apply it to like racism or sexism or something else, like they were just really good at not saying the wrong thing. Whereas in Ohio, you walk in the door and someone says the wrong thing, and like you know,
That
like,
should be on the license plate.
yeah. But then
That's a great
then
Ohio
somebody-
motto. That's our new motto.
And then somebody butts heads with that person and kind of writes them though. Sometimes that's what I feel. I always hear somebody make this horrible remark, and then they end up working, like they'll make say something mean about, like, say, this is just an example. This isn't something I've seen personally, but I've seen like at parties and stuff. Somebody will make some joke about like a black person or something, and that the black person will be at the party, and they'll have a conversation. Will be like, I don't really feel that way, man. I'm just goofing around. And like they'll work it out, you know, because they said it so loud and stupidly because they're from Ohio,
Right.
that it happened to be a problem that had to be like clear the air of.
But in Seattle, they walk in, they see the black guy in the room, and they're like, shh, don't say anything.
I'm going to say something wrong. I'm not going to say something.
So
Yeah.
which way is better though?
I don't know. I'm not saying that's better, but I think the problem gets solved faster here.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's better to
don't know,
say what you
man.
want to say.
There's just a lot more racist people here, though.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Like, but in Seattle, they're segregated just like we are and stuff. Like, there's a lot of neighborhoods.
No, you're right. That is true. I've been there, and you're right.
And we say it
Really?
happens.
Oh, yeah,
They
it's-
don't say it happens.
Right.
You know?
It's blatant in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought they're way more liberal.
You'd
and
think.
stuff
I mean,
over
they
there.
are, but they
Oh,
just know
yeah.
exactly what not to say. Whereas we just say it by accident.
I guess maybe it's more of a keep to yourself and shut your mouth.
Yeah.
And just
And
mind your
you're right
business.
in raising what's better. I don't know what's better. That's not necessarily a point of pride always with me, but I feel like being more straightforward is better. I think maybe that's wrong.
If you do it the right way, I think everyone.
Yeah, that's
Someone
what
just
I'm
put-
thinking. See,
Someone just put on Facebook a little picture that, and I'm gonna misquote it, but it was something like, "I wish people would just immediately, when they see me, tell me exactly what they want to say, whether it's I'm mad at you or I love you or they want to hug me or punch me. I wish they would just do it right away.
Okay.
I wish people were more like that."
Yeah, I mean, in a certain way.
And I guess
you
we
want that
kind of,
sometimes.
I think we kind of maybe are a little bit more like that than other places.
As much as you can be. I guess
Yeah.
nobody can really fully do that all the time, but
You think it's
Yeah.
because immigrants? We got like, I mean, like my family, my mom and their family. I'm thinking are so like hardcore. You know, they're from Italy. They'll tell you how they feel straight up. It's like, he's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking ass. You know, they'll say things that are so offensive, like, hey, he's a retard. What is he, retarded?
Can I-
They'll say this stuff, and I think it's okay to talk like that.
Can I quote your
You
mom?
say like, no. If you say something like that to other people or something, you know, they're going to be like, wow, Mike's a real jerk. But I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like you're stupid. I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, see, I said it again.
But
I don't mean it like
I
you're
just meant
stupid.
We're
Yeah.
we're a product of immigration as much as any other part of the
I'm just
country.
saying they're a lot tougher in other countries, and I think that mentality might, because we're so over
because
here.
the older immigrants are in the middle of the country sometimes, or
That's what-
you know, like
I don't know what it
Well,
is
I'm
with
from-
immigration or what
I
the
went,
like.
you know, Niles and Warren in this area. It's heavily.
I'm going to tell you guys this. Like, one
Okay.
thing that I've experienced is in this area in Ohio, I mean, you know, like where I'm from, where I live, where the people I'm around, like, we know where we've come from. I know that my grandfather came here from Scotland when he was 19. My grandmother was born here, but her family moved here 2 years before she was born from Naples, Italy. Okay. My son's family, his dad's family came here from Poland. He's only second generation born in this country. Okay, so I know all that. And you guys probably all know like where your grandparents came from, shit like that, okay? In other parts of the country, to ask someone like, what's your nationality, or I don't know, Mexiskimming, like say I meet another Mexiskimming, what is that? What's that name from? I know that's Scottish. People that live in California, they don't know. They don't give a
see.
shit.
It's American.
Their culture is they've lived in California for 5 generations. That's their pride and their culture. They don't know that, like so and so came from somewhere else and stuff like that. We are. I mean, maybe it is a result of the fact that we're.
I'm just talking
kind
about
of like
the attitude.
newly. If you think relatively, we can trace our immigrant roots back within a century or so. Maybe a century and a half, and that's pretty new.
But we're also not like there's no part of town that's like Little Italy and Koreatown.
There used to be.
We're small enough to where
there used to be like the Polish side of town in Youngstown.
But there's still like if you go
Cleveland,
like
there still is.
But in Youngstown, like it's still if you go a couple blocks away, you're gonna get Polish and black people.
It's definitely more mixed in now.
Because I grew up on the north side of Youngstown, and my family was the only white family within blocks around us, but no one cared.
Yeah,
we were all just here.
So if somebody's immediate history is more like at the forefront of their mind, does that make them like think about like, I'm not going to waste any time, I'm going to tell it how it is immediately, like, because New Yorkers on the other side of the coin are worse than we are. If I was to walk up to you, Jay, and you were in my way, I wouldn't say get out of my way, I wouldn't be passive, I'd push you if I was in New York.
Have you ever experienced that in real life?
No, this is just me kind of
New
making
York,
stuff up. Yeah.
I have been there so many times and been like wanting someone to be rude to me. And
They aren't.
They're so nice.
You're right. I'm kind
They're
of talking
so
in like
nice.
hyperbole reputations.
Don't pass that stereotype on, Lee. New Yorkers
you're right.
are nice.
You're right there. They are nice.
Like I've never had a bad experience.
Yeah, they are nice.
I've had people come up to me and say, "Are you lost?" Because I was kind of looking around. I wouldn't do that around here.
Man, I heard nightmare stories.
Yeah, I've had bad experices.
I had a friend who got mugged like three times or something. But but here, let me amend what I'm saying. You ever work in close quarters with somebody in a kitchen, and you guys become one of those weird people that grab each other's hips to let you know you're behind them in this weird little intimate. Yeah. New Yorkers, Subway, they just won't like Ohio. There's enough space that we'll be like, excuse me, Jay.
Oh yeah.
But New Yorkers will touch you.
You do not touch people
will never
around
touch you. Seattleites will never touch you.
Yeah, no.
We might say
Which is
something
why-
I'm
in
about to
California.
touch you.
Which is
No,
why
New York, they just
grunge
will.
came about, because no one hugged anyone for years.
Maybe so.
They were all so sad.
See, my analogy still holds. If I take it away from pushing and take it to, they just rush you aside in the subway, maybe.
Yeah,
politely.
I've stood shoulder to shoulder with people in the subway in New York with no.
And
they
watching
have
out
no
for each
uncomfortable
other,
like notions about it.
And they're kind of watching out for each other in some regard.
One of my favorite
Physically,
experiences in New York is just something I observed. One New Yorker is going around asking for donations for something with dogs, some kind of like animal welfare type thing, and she's going around asking for donations. She's handing out flyers and saying, "Hey, can you donate to this for this cause for dog, animal welfare, whatever?" And this person walked up to my group of Ohioans, and we all said like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, we can't help," or whatever. She walks up to another New Yorker, and the other New Yorker looks at her and says, "Nah, no, I'm not going to help. It's tough all over, Everyone got to help themselves."
Yeah.
And she walks away. And it was just like so classic. It was just a classic experience.
So maybe the result isn't that they're like, it's not about nice and not as nice. It's just about New Yorkers even more straightforward than Ohioans.
That's kind of what it sounds like. Yeah.
It gets less straightforward as you go west.
It's become an inside joke. Like, it's tough all over.
And then you get to Europe, and they're like, keep going east, and whoa.
Yeah. That's a weird thing about Ohio too. We're straightforward to a certain extent, but maybe not to a fault like New Yorkers sometimes are.
Yeah.
But then, like you raised the question of Orlando. I hear a lot of people talking about Orlando bad.
A
lot of people don't like it. I've never been there, but I wanted to ask you, they know you're an out-of-towner immediately, or what? Like, what's the idea? Did you tell them that, or did they just know? Or
I walked into it as the outsider, so I wanted to kind of see, and I had been hosting my own open mic for a year and a half at that point. So I know how the shows can be. I know you can get some weirdos who want to just get a mic and say some racist shit for 5 minutes. So I wanted to introduce myself and say, yeah, I'm kind of like, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to waste your time. I want a spot, please. And I run a show. Here's the scene in Youngstown is pretty cool. So I had this mentality walking into it. I wanted to get to know them and maybe build some bridges and see what happens. And I walked right up to the host of the open mic, and he said 2 words to me: sign up. Sign up.
Yeah. So he was just like, you're not from here, I don't care, because you're not from here. That was the end, end of it.
And I'm going to tell you, the worst part of that experience was watching some kid get up halfway through the show and do 5 minutes of straight word-for-word Louis C.K. material.
Weird.
And no one called him on it. His buddies didn't call him on it. The guy running the show didn't cut his mic.
They're probably all laughing.
He was getting the most laughs, and I don't know whether it was they didn't care or they didn't know. But either way, that's a huge fault. Because if you're running a show like that, you should know someone's ripping someone off.
Yeah.
If it's that current material, like if someone's going way back to some old Lenny Bruce stuff, yeah, these 20-year-olds may not know what he's doing, and maybe you don't. But this was current Louis C.K. shit. This kid was just word for word ripping off.
Do you guys do observational type stuff? Like you were talking, I know Mike tend to do crowd work a little. Like I know Harlan Williams does it a lot. His whole act is which just works for him.
He's excellent.
Yeah,
he's one of the best.
But do you guys like do observational? Is that part of that?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Is that just on the fly, or is it like going into the act?
Most of mine has been when I have to deal with a heckler.
Oh, okay. So you're observing that person or something. You're like, why is this person in this town so mean? Or that
yeah. You know, I don't do a lot of improv. Well, I can't say I do a lot of improv actually.
But is that because of reaction?
It's
to somebody?
absurdist.
Yeah, my stuff's more absurd. Like
absurdist.
You know.
It's a good label. Absurdist.
Bring out my. He's my son, but some people call it ventriloquist dummy. I call it my son. I'll bring him out and we'll just talk, tell jokes, you know. But when I get a heckler, that's then it's a lot of improv going on that I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know, and that's very rare. Only happened a few times,
Once
not
in
a
a
lot.
while.
That's because I haven't done comedy so much.
Right, because it's hard to do around here. How about you, Jaye? You do observational type stuff, or like what do you do the most of, I guess?
I riff on pop culture a lot. I do a lot of political stuff. I miss Mitt Romney. I wrote some of the best jokes I've ever written when he was running for president.
My joke was, I'm not going to vote for Mitt Romney. And remember Newt Gingrich?
Yeah.
And I called him Nit Gingrich.
Yeah.
And I said the Republican parties are a bunch of nits.
No.
And
I'm sort
this is the same reaction I got. That was awesome, and I thought that's funny.
With all the stuff that's going on with Trump and the rest of the Republicans.
I think it's really funny.
I'm sorely missing stand-up right now.
Oh yeah,
but I don't get a lot of response because a lot of the
I
audience.
do too. I would love to go up there
it.
and wear a Trump shirt and just talk about making America great
You've
again.
been trolling Facebook up until about a week ago. You've been trolling Facebook,
You've
and
had
I've
some
known
great
you.
Trump jokes. Like
I've known you for how many years, and I honestly thought you were voting for Trump. That's how good your trolling has been.
I was trolled pretty hard for Trump. Then when he said how he loves uneducated people, after all the dumb shit he said. That was a straw that broke the camel's back. You know, he's
where you were like, this
I
isn't funny
can't
anymore.
even make a joke about this.
This isn't funny
out of
anymore.
all the absurd shit he's said, and I just kept going with it, and I'm like, yeah, and I kept finding a reason to like, and I couldn't defend him anymore. I'm like, fuck him.
Well, maybe since you did it through the avenue of social media, it was a more unique experience where people were like, is he serious or not? Because there's so many stand-ups doing that stuff now to oversaturate it. So maybe it's cool that you took a different avenue
It is.
to do it and like
kind of
screwed
my
with people.
demo.
But I do it so much.
But that's how
and
you
I do
are.
it on the both ends, and I
Yeah.
don't think anybody knows who I'm voting for. And right now, I'm so mentally did it to myself. I don't know who I'm voting.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Like, not even people close to
No, because I
understand.
troll every single one
I
of
love
them.
it. Keeps it
I
exciting.
troll
Yes.
Trump, Cruz, Rubio, Hillary, and Bernie.
You troll hard on Bernie sometimes too.
I do, but I like him. I do. I like him more than Hillary.
Not to go. We didn't mean to go
And,
political.
and you
That's
know
okay.
what's
Oh,
weird?
Nursery.
I don't
That's
mean to
fine.
go political. I'm just
That's
saying,
cool. Go ahead.
like Hillary will do her stuff, and I click like, and I go, "How do you like that, Bernie?" But I like Bernie more.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing it.
You're making my head hurt,
It
Michael.
pisses off the ones he loves the most.
Yeah.
Going with like impulse type stuff, huh?
I
I almost had to like not be your friend in real life with the whole Trump shtick because I didn't know if
I
you were
lost
for real.
about 20
If you
Facebook
were for
friends.
real a Trump voter, I can't be friends with you in real life. I can't be.
I would have broken his fingers. Don't worry.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Why?
Because
See? No,
if
you started it.
If
Maybe I
you
will vote
are,
for him.
listen, if you
Now he's
are,
gonna do it.
if you are genuinely, for real, honestly supportive of that man and his political agenda, you are the worst of the worst. Because you are displaying a level of ignorance that I don't want to have in my life.
Some of the stuff he says I like. Some of it I don't.
Jay, why did you
Most of
do
it I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be honest.
Okay, but if I gave you a sandwich that was 98% shit and 2% ham and called it a ham sandwich, would you eat it?
No,
That's what he's doing.
I know. I'm just saying some things I like.
Yeah, you like that 2% ham, but the rest of it's shit, Mike. Don't eat it. Sorry,
Maybe like
Lee.
10%.
That's okay.
Maybe
Come on, Lee, bring us
10%.
back. Bring us back.
Well, hey, here, let's
Yeah,
do
bring us back.
our closing thought. Let me just ask you. I know this is like a loaded question, but just what do you identify with as far as spirituality and religion? You can give a short answer if you don't want to get into it, but
That's your closing
that's my
thought?
closing thought. So it just to force you to have to.
Intro to a new one?
Doesn't it sound like a new one? Yeah, but just the only reason I do that is to get you to possibly frame it a little and keep it a little. You don't have to keep it super short, but just your quick answer on religion, Mike.
I believe God is love, and treat others as you want to be treated, and respect others, and you will find God that way.
Okay, Terry.
Oh, I'm part of this too?
Yes.
I don't know. I've had a back and forth relationship with God and religion, and I don't know.
TMI.
Listen, I believe in the beautiful complexity of the universe and its creator, whether its creator is itself or something outside of that.
Okay, Jay.
I'm sorry, but that was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. My answer is twofold. One, me and God were in a long-term relationship for quite a while, but we've decided to see other people.
Okay.
And the other side of that coin is that I don't personally feel that you have to have a belief in something greater to appreciate life. I don't feel that you have to have I'm going to be a good person to go to heaven and have my everlasting future. To me, life is beautiful because it's finite.
Cool. And I'm a Jehovah's Witness. Thanks for listening, guys, to Nursery. And signing off, this is Lee Boyle.
Mike Kalenich?
Terry Max-Skimming?
Jay Mills.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Guys, it wasn't recording this whole time. We got to start over. Ready? 3, 2, go.